Bum ba-dum ba-bum ba-ba-bum ba-dum ba-dum ba-da-da ba-dum ba-da-da-da. How does that song go from there? If I only had a, what's your word? If I only had a brain, a heart, the nerve, okayness, love, peace, belonging, flow, ease, causeless joy, causeless okayness. Hi. So, as you can imagine, I guess you just guessed. I recently watched The Wizard of Oz, and of course, I love that movie. In America, and I don't know about the rest of the world. We were just it was a favorite as a kid. So, why am I making this about The Wizard of Oz? Because I love it. First, Dorothy lands in in Oz, right? And what do they say? Follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, right? All the munchkins say that. If you want fulfillment, go follow the yellow brick road. And Glinda does as well, right? And that's we call that the progressive path. It's like what we're gonna progressively find fulfillment. Or it's in classic IFS, we call it a constraint release model. That this ever-present sky, right? This the fulfillment that we know we call the sky as ever present in IFS, the sense that our nature is fulfillment. There's an absence of lack here. That is obscured by the weather, by the clouds. And so in classic IFS, there's a sense of being with each constraint. Maybe it's a sense of I should, or I need, or I don't like this, or there's a contraction around something. And so as that releases, more of the sky becomes clear. So it's wonderful, and it's what many of our paths are. And then there's what they call the direct path, and that's just the getting to know the qualities of the beingness that are always here. And we all know this. We every time we go to sleep, right, we find that there's peace here in deep dreamless sleep. And we find this during our days where we're like, wow, there's just okayness here. There's peace, there's flow, there's ease. And we go, most of us go in and out of that. And these were those, what was the word? The ruby slippers, if there was a word. There was like a magical ruby slippers. There's a different word they use for them. But that Dorothy was always protected. There was always a sense of being protected when she had those slippers on, and they could not be taken off. Remember? The Wicked Witch of the West, like, what? Give me those slippers! I'd take them off. They couldn't take them off with Dorothy. That's what this beingness is. If we're playing with this story, this analogy, that our very nature, it can't be removed. We can't lose it. It can't be taken away. It can't be diminished. And that's what we get a sense of, right? We all get a sense of that. And that's what this effortless IFS is all about. It's just getting to be more intimate with the sky, with our nature, with what can't be removed, can't be diminished. That which was here when we were 10 and that which was here then when we were now. It's just the same. This this beingness, this sense of okayness, this fulfillment, this absence of lack, this absence of resistance that's here. And then Glinda has it's such a great line. It's towards the end when she tells Dorothy, "Okay, Dorothy, Dorothy, she was going to get in the hot air balloon, right, with the wizard, and he was going to take her back to Kansas in the balloon, but oh no, it takes off on its own." He's like, "No, no, Dorothy, what to do now?" And she's stuck in Oz. But then Glinda comes and says, "Oh, it's okay, sweetheart. Just those ruby slippers. Just tap them 3 times, and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And we'll be back in Kansas." But you might be asking, well, why did she have to do the yellow brick road? Why did she have to go get the broom from the witch and have this great adventure? Why did she have to do that? Why couldn't she just be like, oh, let's just do that and we'll go home? Well, this is England says, something like I would have told you earlier, but you wouldn't have heard me. Let's see how we can relate to that. That the ruby slippers always had the power to bring her home. They protected her. Their nature was always there. It was always there for her. But to take her home, she had to, there was something had to be believed. And it seems to be a lot of the journey here is starting to, because this is in IFS, in classic IFS, though, so much of the journey is just about what we call like returning to self-leadership, returning to the sense of the system trusting the self, deferring to the self, deferring to this beingness, this okayness is always here. That's our classic IFS journey. And then in effortless IFS, we bring in more of what we call the direct path. It's just a sense of knowing that. So instead of kind of waiting to know self more through the constraint release, the letting go of the having, seeing through the weather or the weather releasing or healing that which comes up in obscure self. In effortless IFS, we're more of like getting to know them concurrently, getting to know the sky as well as the weather, getting to know the peace that's here, the okayness that's here. And we just kind of sink into it as it comes up with like, oh wow, there's okayness here. Wow, wait a minute, it's causeless. It's not conditioned on experience. I can touch that. What I find when I go to sleep with this peace, this love, all of that. And so that's all we do. I'm going to stop here to keep this one short, but I'm going to do more. So this is the Wizard Oz about these are the ruby slippers. See you later.